Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies, and comrades, I hope you're doing well today. We are live. Let's talk about the handshake, the possible handshake. It seems that uh, Kalonzo, Uhuru Kenyatta, Raila Odinga, they've met or they are meeting in UK, probably discussing the next move forward for the Azimio faction, see what they can do next because it seems like these talks were going to collapse, but uh, I guess that's what they went to discuss. So let's see. We will see what's going on because. So, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies, and comrades, if you are out there, please join the discussion. Join the discussion. Join the discussion. Ruto and Raila's handshake. It's on. Some suggest that it's already happened. Is it true that it has also happened? Please join me in the studio right now. Let's discuss this. If you are pro Azimio, pro Kenya Kwanza, what do you think? What are the implications of this mandamano, if indeed, of this handshake, if indeed it's true that these gentlemen have agreed to have this mandamano? Please, I will have the link. Let me post the link right now so anyone who wants to get in can get in. I'll post it in the chat. So whoever wants to join, please join in the chat. Join in the studio. Let's discuss this. What's going on? Mandamano. Sorry, the handshake, not mandamano. I'm still thinking about mandamano. Join the studio. Join the studio and discuss. We are going to have this talk. See what happens. Anyway, as I work on this, I'm posting the link. I want to hear from Kenyans. Wakenya wenzangu, tell me, what do you think about this handshake? Join in. Join in. I will take a few minutes here. I'm trying to get people to log in. I just came in live right now, so let's see. I am inviting a couple of people, so anyone who wants to discuss this issue, please go ahead, get in. Let's discuss this. What's going on? The handshake is on. Ruto and Raila. I will be reading a couple of Twitter so we can see some what people are saying about this in the Twitter. Oh, okay. I am having a little bit difficulties here, but just give me a second. I am going to fix this. Please do not hesitate. Get in. Let's discuss this. Okay. All right. I have to do some utafiti here, but while I'm getting this thing set up so we can have a discussion on what needs to be done. Bear with me, my dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies, and comrades. We are just getting things set up here so we can be ready for anyone that's want to join the show. We're going to have a discussion. I want anyone. We don't care about your political affiliation. Ingia tuongee. Let's see what's going on. Agent one. All right, let's see what's going on over here. Simple. Yeah. All right, so I am getting this set up so we can have anyone and anybody that wants to join can join so we can have this discussion. Let's see. Uh, you are all welcome. Anyone is welcome in this. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies, and comrades, again, uh, as we know, okay, I'm having, all right, got it, got it. Hold on for a second. Let me just take a moment here. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends and comrades, I'm trying to get people in here. So I'm sending the link to a couple of people so we can have this discussion of what's going on, the possible handshake that might have happened, may have had happened between Ruto and Raila Odinga, and what does that mean for to us mere mortals, Kenyan people? Okay, what does that mean for us? What does that mean? Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies, and comrades, uh, we are going to discuss this. See what's going on. There's a possibility that we may already have agreement between these two gentlemen, but that's yet to be confirmed. So let's have this discussion. Let's see what's going on between these guys. Um, we are just a second. We're about to go try to get this set up first before we start getting uh, before we get to it. Before we get to it, we'll get to it. Let's discuss the possibility of this handshake that has happened between, um, that may have happened actually, between Raila Odinga and William Ruto. Uh, okay. Just give me a second, ladies and gentlemen, as I get ready for this. I will be on and live so we can have this discussion. Try to get everybody situated over here. It will take a second. It will take a second, but we'll get there. Just hold on tight. Hold on tight. Hold on tight. We're about to get to this. We're about to get this. Um, we're about to get to this. We're about to get to this. Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. Okay, let's see here. We are about to get to this. Just give it a second. We uh, All right, all right. We're about to get to it. We are about to get to it. All right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. We are situated now. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies, and comrades, let's discuss what's going on. I have to put this thing. What's going on today? I hope everyone can hear me. Hope I'm audible. RAILA and RUTO handshake. What does that mean for Kenyans? We shall read a couple of tweets from different people who are talking about this. Okay, interesting tweets today. I usually read what people are saying about this as the talks go on. And one of the guys who wrote something today, which is very interesting. I follow him on Twitter. You should. About this possibility. Okay. All right. It is said that William Ruto and Raila Odinga may have just had this handshake, but we don't know yet. We can't confirm. Herman Manyora said in his tweet yesterday, insinuated that William Ruto might have had Raila shake his hand in an agreement in this bipartisan talks. So, Mr. Gabriel Oguda, I believe he's some kind of journalist. He wrote in his on his tweet today, earlier today, he says on the bipartisan talks, this is what the papers are saying today about this bipartisan talks, okay? Number one, in the wake of the emerging threats to the dialogue and the looming impasse over the agenda, the international community has stepped up efforts to salvage the talks and ensure lasting peace in the country. That's according to the Daily Nation. Second, insiders in both the Kenya Kwanza and Azimio camps have linked Mr. Odinga's trip to the United Kingdom to efforts by the international community to persuade him to embrace dialogue, despite his anger at U.S. Ambassador Meg Whitman, according to that Daily Nation, okay? Number three, the Joint Technical Committee of Kenya Kwanza and Azimio has agreed on 5 agenda to be tackled by the National Dialogue Committee. That's according to Standard, okay? Number 4, here are the agreed 5 agenda items, the Standard, okay? According to the Standard. Agenda 1 is cost of living and socioeconomic issues, 2/3 gender rule, okay? And national unity, and checks and balance in government. That's one of the agenda. Agenda 2, electoral justice, reconstitution of the IEBC, boundary commission, boundary delimitation, and audit of the 2022 general election, okay? That's another issue that, is there on the agenda. Agenda 3, entrenchment into law of the Constituency Development Fund, CDF, National Government Affirmative Action Fund, and Senate Oversight Fund. That's Agenda 3. Agenda 4, entrenchment into the constitution of the office of the leader of official opposition and the office of the prime cabinet secretary. That's Agenda 4. Agenda 5 is fidelity to political parties. And here's what I have my issues about this agenda. Let's just tackle one by one, okay? Let's start with Agenda 1, cost of living and socioeconomic issues, okay? Which also, and then, there's 2/3 gender rule, national unity, and checks and balance in government. So basically, these two parties, okay, because I guess these talks is called, this bipartisan talks. Here's the issue, okay? Personally, this is what I want to say. They're calling this a bipartisan talks, okay? We had this, the previous one, with Otiende Omolo, when Otiende Omolo had this talks with his team, which consisted of, Ledama and the rest. And on the other side, Kenya Kwanza side, we had Mr. Murugara, George Murugara on the Kenya Kwanza side in the talks before. And the talks failed for whatever reason. I have a video on that. You can check it on my YouTube channel. I talk about that. Basically, they disagreed upon, the Kenya Kwanza side was saying that this issue should go through the parliament to give it some sort of legitimacy, okay? Since the parliament or the National Assembly or the legislative body, okay, legislative arm of government, which is tasked with legislative, making laws, should look at this and make it into law, make this in law. But the Otiende Omolo side, which is the Azimio side, were claiming that there was no need to that, and then there was no need of going through the parliament, since he felt like, according to his opinion, he says that these two parties have the sovereign authority, according to him, because they had most votes. They represented the most votes in Kenya. So in that way, they were actually carrying out their duty. So they could just come up with whatever they should have come up with. Okay. But anyway, number one, as I say, let's tackle these agendas. Again, agenda one in the talks is as it's written here. Agenda one is cost of living and social economic issues, 2/3 gender rule, national unity, and checks and balances in government. Okay. Now, I have no problem with that, but why do we need two coalition parties to discuss this? Okay, for example, the cost of living issue, the cost of living issue of cost of living. Why can't they just have this discussion in parliament? Do we need a special bipartisan committee to discuss this issue of cost of living? Can't that just be discussed in the parliament? What's the use of the parliament? I mean, they can discuss. There's a Mio side, who are the opposition. They can table their proposal and debate it with the Kenya Kwanza at the parliament and see if they disagree with the president's policy on issues A, B, C, and work out something that they feel can help the country to reduce the cost of living. Why do we need a bipartisan committee to discuss this? Okay, and while we're still in that agenda one, which is again cost of living and social economic issues, what exactly do they want to discuss on this with respect to social economic issues? What's there to discuss? I'm kind of confused about this. All right, let's leave that alone. All right. So we've discussed, what is this? Cost of living, that's number one, which was agenda one, the first issue in the agenda. Socio-economic issues, all right? Then what was the other thing in the agenda one? 2/3 gender rule. What about it? I think it's the law, right? 2/3 gender rule. I don't know. I think that's something that just needs implementation. It's not a matter of, they don't need to discuss it. Something just they can implement it. Okay. What else? National Dialogue Committee. Wait. Sorry about that. Let me go. I'm still on agenda one. Agenda one. Yeah. National unity. Again, all of these things can be discussed in the parliament. I do not see the reason why they should have a bipartisan dialogue committee or commission to discuss these issues. These are things that they can discuss in the parliament. Why do we have a special case with Mr. Kalonzo and his team to discuss this, and Imani Chungwa, whatever it is? Okay. All right, let's go to the second agenda according to the papers. Agenda 2 is electoral justice. Okay, electoral justice. What about it? Was there something unfair that happened in the last elections? Azimio still feel aggrieved? Did they follow the right procedure as it relates to, electoral injustice, as they might view it? I think they did follow the law. They petitioned in the Supreme Court, put a petition in the Supreme Court, and the matter was relegated, was taken care of at the Supreme Court, and the justice, they reviewed the evidence that, if you go to court, you have to present your evidence, which I'm sure Azimio did. And again, I come back to this. When Smoking Wanjala asked that question and asked, of all these Form 34A that were gathered at the polling station, because remember, the election is supposed to be, the presidential election is determined, okay, at the polling station. So if Azimio were to gather all the Form 34As, which I believe consist of the presidential results, votes, if they gather all the Form 34As from all the constituents, at all the polling station in Kenya, review, look at them, compare, okay, make sure all the signatures are there from all the both sides, the election agents, okay, from both parties and from the IEBC agents. If they review all of that, tally up the numbers. Was there any discrepancy? Were those numbers tallied the same as the numbers that Chebukati announced at the Bomas, okay, Bomas Center, whatever the Bomas, whatever, okay? We don't necessarily need the server, but if you do need to, since most of the Azimio people are saying that yes, they need to audit the server, as it says here in the agenda 2. Yes, in order to do that, you need a commissioner, okay? You need a commissioner. Right now, we don't have a commissioner. IBC commissioner, we don't have any. So they need to do that, vote on one, appoint one, whatever the case is. The process is there. They share the selection panel should come up and pick up one commission, okay? That way we can audit the machines. But again, I remember the issue when the Smartmatic head of Smartmatic wrote a letter and said the same thing I'm saying right now, and say that first of all, they claim that they will not oblige to that because that risks their intellectual property rights. Okay, they don't want people to go through their machines because they conduct different whatever reason they use, but the reason, the intellectual property rights, is a solid reason. But even in that, if you still feel that was a suspicious way of dismissing the issue, I think the bigger issue which Smartmatic made, which I think was a valid point, they say that you actually don't need the servers. Just go to IEBC, and again, the same thing I'm saying, go tally up the Form 34As that were filled out at the polling station and see if it actually reflects, if the numbers are the same as the ones that Chebukati announced, okay? So the issue of server, to me, it's not something that it's not a big deal to me. But hey, come on. Join in. The link is there, please, in the chat. Do not hesitate. Get in. I want to have this discussion with you guys. Let's talk about this bipartisan talk. It is said that Ruto and Raila already have a handshake in hand. What does that mean to their followers, Kenya Kwanza and Azimio? And what does it mean to Kenyans? We are being told that these bipartisan talks were so important because without them, Kenya will descend into war. I don't know. I don't believe that. I think Kenya is a relatively peaceful nation, even after elections. It took 5 months before the Azimio side started agitating for these mandamanos and stuff. So I don't think Kenya was going to descend into civil war just because the Azimio people lost the elections. But anyway, going back to the agenda, the second agenda, as I mentioned, agenda 2, was electoral justice. Okay, I mentioned that electoral justice. We can actually verify these results. And again, it's a non-issue. The issue was taken to the highest court in the land, the Supreme Court, and they reviewed the evidence, and they found that Azimio actually do not have a case. It was hot air, or it was hot air. So why do we still going back to this? Why do we still have to go through this IBC? And I don't know. We want to check the mathematic machines, and I think this is the mischief in it. The Azimio folks, they know that letter was written by Smartmatic, denying them access to carry out this audit, but they're using that to cast doubt in this issue, okay? Because regardless, even if we have commissioners, okay, the new IEBC commissioners are selected, okay, and they start carrying out the work. If the IEBC ask the Smartmatic for their machines so they can review, and Smartmatic already said no, claiming intellectual property rights, okay? Then what? What are they going to do? Okay, and for what reason do they need to audit these servers? Okay, because again, if their reason is to ascertain the truth as to what happened in 2022 elections, the issue has been resolved. It was resolved at the Supreme Court. So why do we still need to go about this? What's this about electoral justice? We already have justice on this issue. The issue was taken to the court, okay, and it was ruled upon by the Supreme Court, and the matter has been settled. Why do we still have to go roundabout in this issue? Okay. Then what does that mean? So does it mean that if I have an issue, okay, and I take it to the courts, and I lose the issue, okay, I lose on the case, okay, should I gather around my friends and go for mandamano and claim for a dialogue, form a committee, okay, and say, okay, we have to have this in order to have peace? No. If you really respect the law, if you respect the institutions that we have already in place, you should leave it at that. The highest court of the land already said that, hey, this issue is done with. You lost fair and square. So I don't see what the issue is with this electoral justice issue, okay? That's agenda 2. Reconstitution of the IEBC boundary. Okay, sorry. Reconstitution of the IEBC. I don't exactly know what this means. I mean, I understand I understand the providence of the term, but I don't exactly what that entails. Reconstitution of the IEBC. That just simply means that appointing new commissioners, because right now we can't really have an election. I think there's an election in place. There's a one representative or MCA or whatever, not MCA, but one of the members of parliament who passed away. So, but they can't have an election because we don't have commissioners. So until the new commissioners are selected, voted in, or whatever the case the process is, we cannot have elections. And if this drags on up to 2027, we'll not have elections. RUTO will still be the president. So we need to have these commissioners as soon as possible. Hopefully, these talks will kind of smoothen things out. But again, coming back to my initial point, I have a problem. If this is called bipartisan committee talks, by definition, this is a talk between two-party coalitions. This is not a national issue. This seems to be an issue between two parties. It's not a national issue, okay? So these two parties need to sit down somewhere and figure that out and, talk it out, smooth it out. This is not something that every Kenyan should care about. This is a bipartisan issue, which means it's an issue between two-party coalition. Political parties are that. It's not an issue of Kenyans, okay? If the issue was being discussed at the parliament, at the legislative branch of the government, then we will understand. It will be a national issue, because that's where national issues are discussed, debated, agreed upon, and made into law at the legislative body arm of the government. We don't form committees to come up with new laws, as it suggests in this. What agenda was it? Agenda. Sorry, like agenda 4. And I'm not skipping through the agendas, but the 4th agenda says this: entrenchment into the constitution of, entrenchment into the constitution the office of the leader of official opposition, and the office of the prime cabinet secretary. Wow. So this two-party coalition, they agreed to have a talk outside of parliament. And let's say they agree and say, we should entrench into the constitution the office of the leader of official opposition and the office of the prime cabinet secretary. Basically, creating a new office, bring it into the constitution. I think we should have a referendum in this, if that's the case. First of all, even before we have it in there as the issue should go to the parliament, right? Okay. If I'm not wrong, somebody just correct me if I'm wrong. In order to entrench something into the new constitution, don't we have to go through the legislative body in order to start the process of adding it into the constitution? Don't you think we have to have a plebiscite in order to have that added into the constitution, entrenched into the constitution? Constitution is not something that we should just mess with it every time our mood changes. Okay, we don't like this, let's go to the constitution and change it. Okay, how about, because in my view, humble opinion, I think the constitution is it's good the way it is. We just need to implement what is in there. Just because you lost and you feel some type of way does not mean, okay, every time you lose an election, okay, let's have a mandamano, let's change the constitution to favor me so I can have some kind of power in it, a stake in it, just because I have my own selfish ambitions. No, I'm strongly against this idea of entrenching this into the constitution, the office of the leader of the official opposition and the office of the prime cabinet secretary. No, we don't need that as Kenyans. What do you think? Join me in the chat. Join me in the chat if you're watching this, wherever you are. Please don't waste time. Join me in the chat. Let's discuss. I want to hear from you, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies, and comrades. I want to hear from you. What do you think? Do we need this? Get in. Tell me. The link is in the chat. Look at the whatever. Let's talk. I want to hear from you guys. Do you think starting this official office of the opposition, do we really need that? I mean, we have members of opposition. What? Again, I'm trying to say I can't stress this enough. All right? I cannot stress this enough. The constitution as it is should be implemented. Let's respect it. We don't need to mess with this and meddle it and entrench these new funny offices just to appease a couple of people. Okay? That's why I have a problem with this. Again, the talks itself, by its name, it says bipartisan talks. This is talks between two-party coalitions. It's being held outside of the legislative body. Okay? Which means it should not be considered to be made as law. Whatever they agree upon, that's an issue between these two-party coalition. What this two-party coalition, if they have a dispute and they want to have a committee and they want to discuss these things, that's well and good. Let them discuss this outside of the parliament. That's well and good. They should not have these talks at the expense of the public. The public should not pay for this. And number two, they should not try to make whatever they agree upon to law. If these two parties have issues, let them have whatever committees they have and let them dig into their own pockets and pay for whatever these meetings are happening. But don't come and try to make this law just because you guys have a problem of whatever the case, okay? Making all these funny offices. Most of these issues, like I say, most of these issues that these guys are talking about can be handled in the parliament. Cost of living, as I mentioned. Again, let's go through these agendas again. I'm still talking about, I'll go through these agendas that they're trying to address. Okay, and I'll show you how most of these issues that these guys are talking about are issues that can be handled through the legislative arm of the government. The problem is our MPs and senators, I don't know what they're doing. All I see is my friend Bonnie Kalwale posting pics, selfies in Manchester United, watching Manchester United, and don't get me wrong. I like Bonnie Kalwale. I like him. I know, even though he's not like the perfect politician, but my personal perfect politician, my favorite Kenyan politician is Okiya Mtata. Where is Okiya Mtata? Okiya Mtata, get in here if you see this, whatever. I want to talk to you. That's the person that we should pay attention to, because he's raising very interesting issues regards to the debt. But I'll go back to this agenda. Let me not get off the topic. What's important right now? Let's talk about this agenda that these bipartisan talks are raising. Cost of living. I've said this. This is an issue that can be debated at the parliament. Okay? The president obviously has a plan. We might not like that plan, but what I'm saying is this. If the opposition, if they are the Azimio side, that are not happy with the policies that the president is putting forth to deal with the cost of living, then they should bring that through the legislative body, debate, bring their plan, debate the issues, and maybe come up with a bipartisan, to use the word, whatever, vote on a way forward, how they can improve the president's policy, and also the Kenya Kwanza side should consider the opposition's proposal of how they can deal with this cost of living, okay? And then they can debate that within the legislative body, okay? So that way, if they want to make a law that helps, they can put forth to help wananchi, the cost of living to come down, then yes, we can do that. But why do you need a commission, a bipartisan commission, outside of the legislative body to discuss these issues? Why? Why do you need that? Okay? These are issues that can be tackled in the legislative body. We don't need this. I mean, but anyway, I digress. Let me go back to the issue that I was talking about. Please log in, come discuss with me. Tell me what you think about this. Is the handshake already on? Because there are a lot of people who are saying that this handshake, it has already happened. But anyway, agenda one, as I mentioned, agenda one is cost of living. I said that can be taken care of it can be taken care of at the legislative body. Okay, they can discuss that. And social economic issues. They didn't specify the social economic issues that they want to tackle. I don't know what this is. Okay, all right. 2/3 gender rule. I guess that's something that they can implement. It's already there. I think it's law, somewhere. Okay, that's something that can be dealt with. Okay, just implement it. There's nothing to discuss there. What's there to discuss? Okay, or are they discussing how to implement it? Do that at the legislative body again. National unity. What about it? National unity. Last time I checked, I don't think Kenyans are that divided. I think it's the politicians that are dividing the people. The people pretty much, because the politicians, when you tell us, okay, this community is what, blah, 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 there's places where we can air out our frustrations. There are places where we can discuss our grievances, okay? There's places to do that. But if you have a politician who's calling out protest, mandamano, which is legal, okay? Going for mandamano is legal. But if it turns violent and you're, robbing people, beating people, all that stuff is happening, then you're having this exchange with police, then it comes quite chaotic, okay? But anyway, I digress. Let's go. Agenda one, cost of living, social economic issues, 2/3 gender rule, national unity, checks and balances in government. Isn't that the work of the legislative body? Again, why do you need to discuss this? What's there to discuss? Kalonzo Musyoka, Kimani Ichung'wah. I mean, I don't want to put much blame to Kimani Ichung'wah because they are aggrieved parties, the Azimio party. Not to sound partisan, but that's the truth. The aggrieved party in this case is the Azimio side. They want these talks. They are the ones who are calling for these talks. Okay? So, but anyway, I'll just lump them into one. Why should we discuss checks and balances in the whatever? What's the work of the Senate? Somebody tell me. Somebody, please log in the chats. What's the work of the Senate? What does the Senate do? What somebody help me. What's the work of the Senate? Okay. Anyway, let's move on. So let's agree. Cost of living, social economic issues, 2000 general rule, national unity, checks and balance, all can be done at the legislative arm of the government, okay? Agenda 2, electoral justice, reconstitution of IEBC, boundary delimitation and audit of 2022 general election. I think I've addressed that, okay? I think there's the electoral whatever act, whatever IBC. I forgot the whatever, but these are things in the Constitution that we just need to implement it and be done. Okay. All right. Agenda 3: entrenchment into law. All right. Let me try this again. Agenda 3: entrenchment into law of the Constituency Development Fund, basically making the CDF putting it into law. Okay, how CDF is dispersed, I guess. All right. Again, National Government Affirmative Action Fund and Senate Oversight Fund. So we should make this law. I guess that's if I get it correctly. Somebody get in here, help me. So basically, they're saying in this Agenda 3. The issue of CDF, National Government Affirmative Action Fund, and the Senate Oversight Fund, all this fund, they should make it to law. That's what they're saying, okay? All right. Again, why can't they discuss this in the parliament? I mean, why do you have a committee outside of the legislative body to discuss this? I don't know. Agenda 4, I think I've touched on this, all right? Entrenchment of the Constitution, entrenchment into the Constitution, the office of the Leader of Official Opposition, and the office of the Prime Minister's Prime Cabinet Secretary. Okay? Why do we need to put that into the Constitution? Why? Why? As I've said, the Constitution is perfectly fine. Why do we need all this? So this leader of, okay, the person who will be will hold the office of the Leader of the Official Opposition, who I assume will be Wandanyi, whatever Wandanyi's name is, the minority leader, whatever, from the Ozimia side. So we shall pay him a salary, which I'm sure is going to be a hefty amount, just for him to be the head of the. It's not enough being an MP, the member, the opposition leader. You have to have an office. Let me try this. Okay, let me try this again. Being the head of the opposition is not enough. We have to create an office for you and pay you as the person, the official opposition. Make it make sense. All right. All right. And the other one, Office of the Prime Cabinet Secretary. Office of the Prime Cabinet Secretary. People have been saying this should be given to, what's his name, Musalia Mudavadi. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies, and comrades, Wakenya. To watch your jinga at some point. I mean, let's stop this. This is nonsense. This is nonsense. If anything, we should be frugal. Okay? The president told us we have massive debt that we need to pay off. Why create this extra office, like the official office of the president and the office of the Prime Cabinet Secretary? That again takes out from the money that we're already being asked to pay, the high taxes, just to fund these meaningless offices. And you want to make it, entrench it into the Constitution. What's going on? Are you, what? Wait, let's be serious. Let's be serious. Can we be serious? Can we be serious for a second? Can we be serious? Can we be serious? Okay. Log in. There's the whatever. Speak your mind. Fungua roho, like we say. All right, agenda 5, fidelity to political parties. All right, I like this one. That's the agenda 5. I guess that's the last agenda that we're going to discuss. And I have about, let's say, how many minutes? I've been here for like 50 minutes. I have 10 minutes. Log in. Agenda 5, fidelity to political parties. Fidelities to political parties. This is a beautiful one, okay? So basically, since there's been a lot of people there's a lot of horse trading, people leaving one party, hoping to another, hoping from this coalition to other, leaving Azimio, going to UDA. There's not so much UDA leaving to go to Azimio. There's a lot of people from Azimio jumping ship to go to UDA. So what I'm assuming is they're trying to make it the rules, kind of hard for people to not leave their parties and join the other. And as Azimio's main complaint, and I don't want to make this Azimio Kwenye Kwanza, well, it is, but it is what it is, okay? The Azimio was saying that a lot of people were jumping ship from Azimio because they were getting paid by the president on Alipwa, so they're jumping ship. But I'm saying this, Azimio also have some money. Why not use your money to pay off your people to come back, stay in Azimio? But anyway, this is my personal opinion on this issue. I don't think that one should be just restricted to one party. If you feel that the party you're in no longer works for you, you're free to leave. Leave, by all means. Why should you stay in one party if let's say you're not getting along with your party members, or you don't agree with the general philosophy of your party, even though these parties are not principled as far as ideologically, leave. I have no problem with that. So I don't know what they're going to discuss this. I mean, what's there to discuss? Force you to stay in one party? I know there are people who are saying that if you leave one party, if you're voted through one ticket, let's say you're ODM or whatever the case is, if you're ODM and you're voted through ODM to become a member of parliament, so if you leave ODM, they're saying that you should go back to the people and be voted on your new party affiliation. Whether you're independent or if you decide to go to UDA, go back to the people so you can be voted on your new party, whatever. But the problem I have with that is this. I don't think when people are voting for, yes, to some extent, yes. I know people argue that when the people vote you in for your position, whether you're running for MP or Senate, whatever, okay? The argument is, most people say that, or the general belief is that you're voted in because you belong to ODM or you belong to UDA, okay? That's the general belief, okay? But my take is this. When we choose these representatives, okay, that we donate our sovereign authority to, we should not, as voters, we should not vote them based on their party affiliation. Okay? We should vote these guys based on what they are going to bring to us. Are they going, do they have the interest of the people at heart? Their interest. Whatever manifesto they have, okay? Whatever seras that they're selling to us, are they people-centered? Do they address our interests, our needs? Okay? That's the whole point of donating this sovereign authority to them. Because we believe that they'll represent our needs. Okay? So it shouldn't be a matter of I'm voting you in because you're a member of ODM, or I'm voting you in because you're a member of Jubilee, or you're a member of WIPA, or you're a member of UDA, or you're a member of whatever.
We choose you. When we are voting for you, we are voting for you to be our representative, the person who will, okay, advocate for our needs, our interests, what we want. Okay, so you go there to the legislative branch, being part of the legislative arm of government, where you're going to debate, advocate, bring in motions, bills that will be signed into law that will benefit us as the voters who donated this power to you, sovereign power to you. Okay? So we are not voting you because, okay, you're part of ODM. That's ideally how it should be. Okay? We're not just voting you because you're ODM or you're Kenya Kwanza or Azimio. All right? Unfortunately, we might not be there as Kenyans. You know, if you go to Nyanza province, we vote for people who are aligned to Azimio. If you go to Rift Valley, we vote for people who are aligned to UDA, just for the sake of the name. But ideally, we should only vote for people based on their manifesto. What are they offering us? What are they going to advocate for us for? If you decide to become a representative, you want to represent us at the National Assembly, okay? Our needs, are you going to advocate for our needs? That's what I'm saying. So when somebody is in UDA or ODM, it should not really matter. You know, you join. Ideally, if you're joining, let's say if you're joining ODM, and I have 3 minutes before I leave here, please, if you want to get in, get in. Ideally, if you're joining Jubilee or ODM or Azimio coalition in total, you know, you should join based on the ideals, ideology, their principles, their philosophy, political philosophy. Does it match yours? Are you lured by that? That's why I say this party coalitions, even these political parties, they are not ideologically principled. They are just vehicles that people use to vie for office. Oh, ODM, you know, it's the party that Raila Odinga is the head of, or whatever the case is. So I'm going to jump ship because he's famous, and in the Nyanza region, you know, he's the man. If he says we're Nasimama, I'll probably get the votes. You know, same thing, UDA. Oh, who's our party leader? RUTO. Oh, okay. You know, I'll vie as a UDA member because I know if I stand in Rift Valley with the UDA ticket, I will probably win. We are not joining these parties because of the ideas of, or because of the ideological principles, okay? We're just joining because we see it as a way of winning an election. So this whole fidelity, Agenda 5, fidelity to political parties, to me, it's a non-issue to me. If you feel that ODM, if you're voted, okay? This is how I look at it, and I'll finish up with this. If you voted for ODM, on an ODM ticket, okay? And let's use Jalas, for example. He was voting on an ODM ticket in Langata, whatever. If he decides to jump ship and go to UDA, all right? The ODM shouldn't be shouting, hey, you should go back to the people and see if no, he has the right to do so. The people voted him in to be their representative. Now, if the people are not satisfied, for whatever reason, then there's laws that calls for his recall. There's processing into it, okay? Even though those laws are not really, they're kind of messed up, but there's laws to recall him. But if you don't want to recall him, if you can't recall him, or for whatever reason, you don't know, you're ignorant, then Jalas, it's okay for Jalas to stay, to leave ODM and go to UDA and wait for him in 2027 where you can vote for an alternative, okay? But stop screaming and saying he should go back to the people since he's the UDA. No. They trusted Jalas. The people that were going to vote for Jalas, specifically for Jalas. Whether because Jalas was part of ODM or Azimio, that's immaterial. They voted for Jalas, the person, to go represent them in the National Assembly. Because I'm assuming they felt like Jalas will be the person who will have advanced their interest. Okay? That's what I mean. So that's why I do not have a problem with somebody actually defecting from their party. If you feel ODM or the Azimio coalition is not working out for you, feel free to leave. Go to UDA. If you're in UDA and you feel like you don't want to whatever, feel free to leave, go to ODM or whatever the case is. We shouldn't have rules and regulations. We shouldn't have people calling for you to go back to the people and get voted on a new ticket. No, the people voted you as an individual. They believed you as an individual. You as Jalas, for example, they believe that you, Jalas, even though you're a member of the ODM or you're a member of the Azimio coalition, we believed in you that you're going there to advance our interests. Okay, we didn't. Your party affiliation notwithstanding. Okay, so if your party are not happy that you defected from ODM and went to UDA, okay, that's their issue. Let the people on the ground have a say. If the people are not happy because you left ODM and went to UDA, then the people should go and try to recall you. They should recall you, okay? And there's laws about recall, okay, that deal with recall. But the ODM side should not be like, oh my goodness, you cannot change parties. You're gonna no. You have the right to. So that's why I say this Agenda 4 of fidelity to political parties, to me, it's a non-issue. Okay, we don't need any stringent rules or laws regarding this. You should be able to be flexible, because sometimes if you join a party and maybe you don't agree with the decision that that party or the direction that that party is taking, why stay in it? You can leave. Let the people who voted you in make that decision, because the people who donated this sovereign authority to you are your boss. Just like we, the people, Kenyan people, are RUTO's boss. It's not the other way around. Okay? So if you are not happy with him, that's why I tell my friends on the opposition side, I don't know why you're making noise and going out there and doing this. You can use the parliament to get him out if you really want to get him out. It's really simple. And his cabinet is all over the place. There's so many cases that you can use in the parliament to actually impeach him if you want to get him out. Okay? But the problem is, you guys want to cause chaos, whatever, because it seems like some people have their own interests. But not to digress, I'm just saying this. The people who voted you in that particular party, that position, being an MP, senator, MCA, whatever the case is, those are your bosses. They get to decide if you leave ODM and go to UDA, if you leave UDA and go to ODM, if you leave Wiper Party and go to NAC. Those are the people who gets to decide if you should be recalled or not your party affiliates. The party can kick you out. That's fine. They can kick you out. But still, that should not take out the fact that the people voted you as the individual to represent them. You still have that sovereign authority that was donated to you to go advance their interest. So again, the fidelity to political parties, Agenda 5 of the talks, again, it's a non-issue. It's not something that we, the Wananchi, care about. It's not a hot button issue. People care about the price of unga, the price of the mafuta. They have to go to work. Are they getting paid? The civil servants, are they getting paid on time? Okay, these are the issues that are affecting people. Beya unga, beya mafuta, beya, things like that. The everyday need. Can I afford to put food on my table? Not fidelity to party affiliation or party, whatever, political parties. That's a non-issue. That's what I'm saying. All these issues, agenda that have listed and talked about, there are things that can be discussed at the parliament level. Again, the name itself, bipartisan talks. These are issues that can be handled. This suggests that these parties, these two parties, they have issues that they need to work out between themselves, not the country. It's not a national issue. It's an issue between the two-party coalition. It's not an issue that most Kenyans care about. Of course, again, don't get me wrong, the cost of living issue is a huge one. That's relevant, okay? But it shouldn't be discussed in a bipartisan coalition committee. It should be discussed at the rightful place where it should be discussed. Where? At the legislative part. Those who we voted to go take care of this, including the president, okay? So we wananchi, all across the board, across the nation, if we are not happy with what's going on, okay, instead of this two-party coalition meeting outside of the legislative branch to talk about the issues that affect us, while the rightful place where they should discuss this is the legislature, whether it's the parliament or the senate, where they should be debating these issues, coming up with a resolution and passing it to law so it can improve the cost of our living. Okay? These are not issues that they should discuss outside of whatever. But anyway, it's been an hour. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to discuss, log in. The link is on the chat. Please go in. I will wrap up in about 5 minutes. If nobody's joining me, I will be out of here. I'll be going in again in a few. But I just want to talk about this issue, this bipartisan issue. Rumors had it that maybe Raila Odinga and Ruto have reached an agreement. According to Miguna, if you look at his tweets, he says this agreement probably happened back in April, okay? According to Herman Manyora, he's wondering, what did Raila receive from Ruto? How much? Herman Manyora. Well, Herman Manyora, whatever. But, you know, it is what it is. But, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies, and comrades, please log in, have a discussion. Kuja useme mambo yako. We are discussing here. I will take a break. It's been an hour, so I will take a break. And I will be back again. I will go live again in an hour's time. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please go to YouTube. My YouTube channel is Kenya Revolutionary. Subscribe, share, like, comment. Tell me what you think. And please, anytime I go live, join me. Let's have an interaction here. Let's talk. Okay? All right. I'll see you guys later, and I will be back in an hour or two. Peace.